When this game was first announced, many of us asked, is this a scam? Is this just on-rails gameplay? Can this game actually be finished? With the likes of The Day Before and Dream World popping out, live services closing left and right, along with even bigger titles failing to meet even the lowest expectations, it was no wonder that the public was skeptical. The gameplay and trailer that released at the time looked extremely scripted. And while yeah, it was pretty much on par for gameplay early releases and trailers to be scripted, it turns out the core idea is actually there. At least that's what I want to believe. And a couple of weekends ago, they just released an open beta test where you could just go to Steam and download the game and test it out. Maybe it was available on other platforms, but I only checked on Steam, I downloaded it and I tried it out and I recorded it. So we will talk about this today, and I want to share my thoughts on what I saw in the game. And right off the bat, I can say that the game is basically 3D Zomboid in medieval times. Now disclaimer, I'm a noob on Zomboid, and played only for a few hours with some friends. But my hardcore Zomboid friends, they thoroughly disagree with me, and they say that this game does not share a lot of similarities with Zomboid. They say it's nothing like it, so yeah, disclaimer. For me, a noob in Zomboid, this game looks exactly like Zomboid but 3D, but for my friends that play Zomboid for a long time, they disagree with me, but let's check it out. First thing, when I started this game, I realized that there are some passive status based on your health, your hunger, thirst, and like if you're ill, if you are cold, hot, and even if you are near zombies. And that reminded me a lot of Project Zomboid, that when you start the game and there are a lot of zombies near you, your character starts to get panicked. So even if you are an experienced player who knows how to deal with combat in the game, you can still get those passive status like panic and other mental passive effects, and along a myriad of other effects that really reminded me how Project Zomboid also approaches this feature. And then the inventory management is done basically in the same way as Zomboid, as far as I can remember. You are in a place and you pop up an inventory by the side of your screen, and oh, I guess it would be on this side, right? And you can just check every item that are on your surroundings, and you can grab them. You can even, there are the context menu drop-down options that you can pick and choose. And I know a lot of survival games, immersion, military sim might have this option, so it might not be like coming from Zomboid directly, but it really is the first one that comes into mind. And like many of these games, if you want to drink something, if you want to take something from one inventory to another, if you want to reload your weapon, I guess you cannot reload here, but any action that you want to do takes some time, and you can see a progress bar filling up. In the case of Save Birmingham, it's a circular progress bar, but in the case of Zomboid, it's just like a horizontal progress bar. So it's something very typical for the genre, and something that also makes me remember Project Zomboid. And not to talk about breaking up doors, furniture, boarding and unboarding doors and windows. Everything felt like I was playing Project Zomboid again. And even though I'm not a sucker for realism, I gotta say the devs really got something going on here. The atmosphere feels like it's going on the right direction. And granted, I think the game can still benefit from artistic vision, so maybe we can rearrange some structures so we get a better, cinematic view of points of interest instead of trying to go for a more realistic village setting. Maybe we can rearrange terrain and the position of buildings, and also lighting and colors, so there is a more visual reference and not so much of this fully realistic 3D render game, And just like any other survival game, the crafting system seems that it wants to go really far and deep. Granted, I have not played a lot to check basically anything from the crafting system. I guess I just made a bed and a fireplace, and then I died while sleeping, maybe to hunger or thirst. But there were many options when I take a look. I believe you can even go down doing metal armor and weapons and swords, spears. So I don't know how far we can go on structure still, but it would be amazing if down the line we can actually build structures, fortifications, traps, and other stuff, to deal with zombie hordes and maybe even enemy players depending on how they go. But that's a conversation for later. And in order to put you on your toes, the game demands specific crafting tables. So let's say you want to work with weapons and metal armor, you need to go to a blacksmith. Or maybe you want to work with clothes, you need to go to a tailor. So there are reasons for you to jump from house to house looking for that crafting table that will really advance, or that you at least think it's something you need to look for right now. And that also gives you a reason to explore the post-apocalyptic medieval city, right? And really, as I said, I didn't even play it a lot, but I saw a video of a guy talking about farming chickens, so we can really see the depth that this game is able to achieve if they go that far. Imagine domestic farm animals like cows, pigs, goats, and even chickens, so you can have meat, feathers, leather, milk, cheese, a lot of stuff that you can do to have your survival base while still fighting hordes of zombies. Now, Movin N Explorin really, in the combat for that matter, really felt like a Project Zomboid in a 3D setting. You just move regularly, you don't have to run, and usually if you run you will attract more zombies. So just like in Project Zomboid, if you go like normally walking, you can outpace a lot of the regular zombies and also safely not aggro a lot of them, and you can use that to your advantage. And also, you hit zombies and sometimes they will fall to the ground just like in Project Zomboid, and you can kick instead of the regular push, I guess, that you do on Project Zomboid. I compared this game a lot to Project Zomboid, I'm sorry, but this is how it feels to me. And when zombies are on the ground, you can stomp on their heads, you can get attacked by them. So it's a really interesting system. The combat felt rewarding and decent enough, nothing to write home about. It seems that different weapons have different motions of attack, but as far as I could see, nothing bigger than that. Obviously, some weapons will have better advantages, because there was this moment that I was using the pitchfork and it got thrusting motion, so it is easier, to hit zombies in gaps and narrow corridors. So there's also that, and the game might feel pretty common until here, but that is when you realize you can grab objects and throw them at zombies. And I'm gonna tell you that as much jank as it is to do that, it is actually very rewarding, and I don't want them to fix this too much. Like, if they want to polish and optimize, when I was playing that, one of my friends commented, oh, it looks like he's using telekinesis, he's not even touching the furniture that he's grabbing and throwing at zombies. And come on, I barely know any games that actually have the animation for you to grab and throw these objects. I mean, when you can grab and throw anything. But I get what he's saying, right? If the game does manage to do animations for this, it would be amazingly beautiful. But if they don't, I won't feel bad, because it is really fun to just grab objects and throw at zombies. And I guess if we were humans resisting in a zombie apocalypse, one of the things we would do is to grab objects and throw at zombies, because they become weapons, right? Obviously, it's very comical how it happens in the game, and it's not bad. It is fun. I mean, it's not realistic, but I guess it would be realistic to throw stuff at zombies. Just maybe not the weight and how things go. But yeah, heavier objects have a bigger impact on zombies. If you throw lighter objects at them, they will react with less intensity. But obviously, carrying heavier objects drains your stamina faster. So there's a bar that pops up on the bottom of the screen, and you can see it's draining faster if you are carrying a heavier object. And on the topic of physics, not only it was nice to throw objects at zombies and see them collapsing and using that to your advantage in combat, it was also nice to see how doors react in this game. There was this section that I wanted to enter on a shack or shed or whatever is it called. It's just a one-room building and a barn or a storage or whatever it was, and there were like 3 or 4 zombies inside, and they were all pushing the door, and the door could not open because they were pushing it outward and the door wouldn't budge. And it was nice because I was trying, to throw objects at the door and the zombies were glitching out. So even though it's very gamey, it also felt real because, yeah, if zombies were blocking the other side and they were constantly hammering the door and trying to get out, it would be very difficult to push against 4 dead bodies, I guess, that are magically standing. But it felt like the world had real physics, and we could abuse that. And there was something that really surprised me. I don't know if I experienced this in other games. I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time a game do this, but it was really amazing. We went into this barn. I say we, I was playing while some friends were watching me play. But I went into this barn and there were these stairs, right? And a friend on Discord just talked to me, hey, can you use these stairs to get to the 2nd floor? And I was like, can we? Because I knew we could grab objects and try to rotate them. So I was there trying to rotate and get a hang on the controls. And then I was able to place the ladder in such a way that my character was now able to use it and climb up the ladder to get to the 2nd floor. It was very interesting to use the stairs to get to a 2nd floor, and it's very interesting how we can use physics and placing these objects in the world so we can get to better position. And I mean, it's just amazing. Usually physics in games can be really janky to develop, but I really think that the devs have stumbled upon a golden nugget here, and it really adds to the gameplay. It's not taking anything away. So even though it might prove hard to develop, I really think they should keep and invest on the physics side of this game. And now, talking about physics, if we talk about multiplayer, physics do bring a lot of problems to multiplayer games, so I don't know how they would get around that. Maybe with server-based physics, so every client is always updating how their game is looking based on the physics on the server, but it would still prove a little bit troublesome. But yeah, the game on Steam page is listed right now as a single-player game, and that is a little bit worrying. I don't know if it is listed like that because of the open test. I guess it is, because, well, yeah, I can see a lot of people playing this game single-player, either for the challenge or just because they prefer to play single-player games. But the game clearly shares DNA with other survival server-based games, so like Rust and Minecraft even, so Power World. So that would make for a really amazing co-op experience, and maybe even servers where PvP is allowed. I really don't know how they would go about PvP, and honestly, if I'm only looking at my personal interests, I have no interest in a game like this being PvP because it's not feel like the main focus of the game. So I wouldn't mind if the devs actually do not even develop friendly fire in this game, just for the sake of focusing on what's fun and not really focusing on player versus player damage. But yeah, I still don't know what the release intentions are for this game, but I really hope that they are looking to do at least the same style of multiplayer that Power World has, or Project Zomboid for that matter. Now, I haven't touched upon the status effects and passives. The game clearly makes use of a lot of these passive effects going on based on your character's health, and the health system feels like they will be going for a limb treatment based and different wounds types. So basically you have your burns, your cuts, your lacerations, your bites, and broken arms and legs. I haven't experienced those on my gameplay, but again, I played for like 2.5 hours. There seems, or at least there is a big opening in this game, not only based on what I saw, but based on other games in the genre, for all of these different type of wounds, different type of treatments, illnesses, and basically there's a plethora of possibilities with this game. So even the medical crafting side of things would be more intricate than just crafting a first aid kit or applying bandages and that's it. There will be different types of items that you need based on different types of wounds your character might get. You know, the usual survival elements that we see in many of these games, you know, that are more intricate and they want to go deep into the wound system, and just like Zomboid does it. And yeah, this is the general sentiment I got from the beta test. Great foundation and direction, but they still have a long road ahead in order to reach their full potential. I can keep listing the possibilities that I think this game can achieve based on what I saw on the beta test, but you know, imagination can only get us so far. We still have to see what the devs will do and what we will have either on the early access release or the 1.0 release. And if the initial question was, is this game a scam? Now the real question is, how far can these devs go? And in the same way we had to wait and see if the trailer they put out was a scam or not, we just have to wait a couple more years, or maybe not even that, maybe just months, and see what they will manage to release. And hopefully develop the game enough so it can truly flourish, because I think they really are striking gold here. There's a great potential with this game. And with no release date in sight, there is only speculation. And while some might want and be eager for the game to release as soon as possible, I sit quite on the opposite side. Not only do I think devs should take their time with this game, I also think it will take a long time for this game to reach its true potential. From everything I saw on the open beta, there is a lot of potential for this game, but a lot of things need to be fleshed out and ironed out and balanced. And it's a very huge and expensive game, so I really believe it will take a long time for it to properly develop into a release version. And a long development time like that would need an extremely good management, so like the proper time to release the early access, how many features should be released at early access, the scale of the scope of the game to match target audience, the potential earnings that they can have, and you know, live up to the expectations, develop a great foundation for the game so they can later have mods, you know, workshop community, maybe do their DLCs, you know, because I think this game, I don't think this game, you know, will be finished in 3 years and that's it. I think this is a game that has the potential to be under development for like 10 years, and it's so expensive, but it all depends on how well the devs deliver content, value to whoever is playing, and how well they time their marketing, because you just cannot sleep on the hype, right? I would personally expect at least a 2027 early access release, and at minimum 2030 for the game to be on the full release. But again, as I said, based on other games on the genre and what I saw on the open beta, I really think this game will take a long time to reach its full potential. But with the proper marketing and strategy, I really believe that these guys might have a blockbuster on their hands. One last thing that I want to touch upon is the community aspect. Again, I'm gonna bring up Zomboid, but that game, I believe obviously it is a very good, great vanilla game. The base game is amazing, but the modding community on that game is superb. It's so amazing. There are so much content that you can add, consequently adding value to the game using the mods. The same goes for games like Kenshi, and hell, we can even argue that Skyrim only has the success it has because of modding community. So it's no wonder that modding community for this game would do wonders for its success, for its longevity. So yeah, I really hope that the devs are, you know, taking care and paying attention to that side of things, because that will help their game go a long way. I won't even try to name the infinite amounts of different mods I believe a game like this can have. Probably the same amount as Zomboid. But that's it, my guys. It is a very interesting game. It is very interesting to see that they are pushing forward and it's not just a scam like the day before. And the game really feels interesting. I want to know your opinion. Have you played the open beta? Have you checked this game out? Are you excited for this? Have you played Project Zomboid? Do you think this game has anything to do with Project Zomboid? Am I just going crazy and it has nothing to do with it? Tell me in the comments. I want to read your opinion about this game, guys. I'm really excited for this game. I didn't expect it to be like, zombies are not my thing, but when I actually got to play the game, I was way more into it than I was at Project Zomboid, and Project Zomboid was already a very interesting game. So I really want to know your opinions about this game. If there are any more relevant updates, I'll be sure to bring them here to you. And that's it, my guys. Unfortunately, you cannot play the open beta because it's already ended, but I'll be sure to try and warn you guys if I know of any more open betas that they do. And that's it, my guys. I hope to see you on the next time. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.